It's casual, not formal. It's hosted by Rory Penland. Oh, with Jonathan and Renee in tow. It's time to start the show. 1, 2, 3, go!
And good evening. Welcome to It's Casual. I got a lot to talk about tonight. A couple weeks ago on the show, we had Jake and Bethy Allen from Social Distance Fest. And I said things on the show that led people to believe that maybe they had come first before other social media multi-performance platforms. And that, in fact, was not correct, and I wanted to apologize for that. I did not mean to say the wrong thing and lead people to believe the wrong thing. We love all of the apps that allow people to be creative and do their own thing on social media. But the fact of the matter is Jake and Bethy Allen and Social Distance Fest were not the first ones. And it doesn't really matter because they have such a wonderful platform, and people go on there and perform from all around the world, as with KMH and other platforms, Stardom Media and Cosmos now. So again, we're just so happy for all of these different platforms. And again, I don't want to send misinformation out there and give people the wrong idea. So I want to get that out of the way. So get the elephant out of the room. That would be me. So let's bring Renee and Jonathan back up.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Hello. Howdy.
Again,
how are you?
Good. And yourself?
Hanging in there. Renee,
Good.
what about you?
I'm ready to watch some really cool ads that we have.
Well, and again, that's the other thing is,
Ads.
again, we have all these new channels sprouting up from everywhere.
Yeah.
All this creativity sprouting out and branching out. And I think what we would all like is to get some revenue, to get some people who are interested in our product to maybe give us a little something for ads. And so I reached out to some of our regulars and said, hey, can you do 15-second ads and we can just kind of show people what we're capable of. And and we're going to throw it to the wall and see what sticks. These were the 5 best ones that I rounded up this week. And let's go ahead and play the first one.
All right. These are quite
away.
memorable. They are very memorable. I'm just going to let everyone know.
Oh,
all right.
boy.
Mad
Can you hear
Jack.
this?
Hey, if you're out in the desert all the time like I am, then you need a really good deodorant, one that lasts all day long. That's why I use Degree. It lasts up to 24 hours. It's good. I like it.
I like it.
Oh, the general
So
is
you need to clean up
quiet.
with a good... Hello,
There we
cadets.
go.
You want an atmosphere that's not conducive to monster activity, so you need to clean up with a good disinfectant. That's why I use Lysol. Kills 99.9% of germs. If there's no germs, there's probably going to not be much monster activity around.
Okay, he needs an English lesson, but that was good.
Now, listen up. I don't have to sing the corn dog blues no more because I got me a box of Foster Farms corn dogs. Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Boy.
That's just beautiful.
That is beautiful. I love it. Rolling.
I'm Roland Pruitt, and I'm Roland Pruitt, and I do kaiju paintings like this one right here.
Yes.
And I only trust using supplies from Michael's Art Supply Stores. They're the absolute best. They are.
It's nice to see all of our friends making such valiant
How it
pitches.
gets out there. I know how it gets out there when it gets really hot and you've got a thirst you gotta quench. Well, you need to pick the right drink to quench that thirst. Like water.
Perfect. So I think, and I think Renee will agree with this, I think you can see the potential here. Don't you see the potential?
I think Renee. clicked her
Yes,
heels and took off.
I'm right here. I thought you were asking John.
Well, John as well.
There's a wealth of potential there, man. There's a wealth of potential there.
So again, potential sponsors. Yeah, you see what we can do here. It just takes a little creativity.
Yes.
So
I think it makes a
Stacking
very
pennies.
strong case. It's a very strong case. Particularly, I like Bruce there. I think
like
he was
water.
pretty good. Yeah. Wow, you sound a lot like him. I don't know.
I do impressions.
You
know
do
that.
impression, yeah. That's
I can do impressions of all those guys.
Definitely.
But not a lot of people know who they are yet. So
he was
it's not like
definitely-
Gilbert Gottfried. You know, when I do him and everybody understands who he is, you know. Speaking of impressions, I couldn't believe it this week. John Biner, a legend in comedy, reached out to me this week. He's got a new book out. He wants to plug it on our show. I think this is fantastic. He's coming on in a couple of weeks.
There you go.
So I'm very excited about that.
I love
And,
how
and it's not going to be one of those things where, you know, we're waiting for them and he doesn't come, because he's actually reached out to us. You know, he reached out to us, which is great.
Yeah. That really shows that we're making such a great impact too. And
I hope so.
We are. We're getting our voice out there. We're getting our names out there. And I'm so proud and happy and excited for what everything we've got coming up. And Renee, if you can divulge what you've been working on pertaining to CCTV, I think the folks would be very keenly interested as to what you've been working on the last little while.
Oh, well, I don't think it's any secret. We had someone step in and we have people working on the website. And so I'm connecting everybody's resources, everything that people have been sending through. It's all getting up there and it's coming together. So that's exciting for everyone.
Yes.
Congratulations for everybody. Yeah.
And let me tell y'all something. Please give Ray a tip of the cap, because she has been doing a yeoman's work to get this website built and get it up, and crossing our fingers, toes, and eyes, knocking on all the wood. It should be up within the next couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I am always tipping my hat to Renee, because she works so hard. And again, I hope that we can generate some revenue so we can give her some money for all that hard work she's been doing.
Yes. And speaking of Renee, I have to tell you, I'll try to give the quick version of this anecdote. So I've been doing this. I've been working alongside Renee since April of last year. And if ever there was a time where she would be chasing me down with a skillet, last night was it. Because, okay, so we were doing, what were we doing last night? We were doing, it's slipping my mind, the Monday night show. The Monday show that we do. Burn It Down. We were doing Burn It Down. So we were doing Burn It Down, and she was going to stream it to the CCTV YouTube. So I'm there, and I'm just waiting. And I'm thinking, okay, YouTube's screwing up because it's not coming up. So I messaged Renee afterward, and then I see where she posts the YouTube link, and it was at that point that I realized that both her and I created CCTV YouTube accounts without the other knowing. So
I was wondering about that, because I was going to search for the General Howitzer episodes to see if I could watch some of those to see what's going on. And there's some on one channel and some on another. I'm like, there's two channels?
Listen, I didn't know she had created one. She didn't know that I'd created one. So now I'm running around. I've been running around like
communication.
I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off, downloading videos, getting everything uploaded to the proper CCTV. Oh, thank God. And you can attest to this too. Thank God that Renee Yaworsky has such a long fuse like she does. Because if it was anyone
good communication
else,
prevents us from having, to do extra work than we have to. So
I usually am in touch with Ray on this stuff pretty well, but
Yeah.
this was one time where it slipped. This is one time where it slipped, but we're making it good. We're getting all of our ducks in order, and now we are going to be good. And I believe we have a guest or two.
Yes, waiting in the green room.
Yes.
So, we haven't flipped the coin to see who's supposed to come on first. Do we bring them both up at the same time? We got Corrie up. Well, we got Jaime up. We got them both up at the same
Hello,
time.
ladies.
We
How
actually,
are
the
you
last
tonight?
time Corrie was on, she was with Smokestack Betty Dodson, and we
Yes.
did the same thing. We brought them both up at the same time, and they just kind of
That was a
did,
great
you know,
episode.
changed what they were doing as we talked, as we chatted.
Yeah.
Nice to see you, girls. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Now I'm Lawrence of Welk all of a sudden. Do you girls remember him? Were you little girls are watching that show?
Boy.
That's for the oldsters watching, like me. Jaime, you've got a new show up, right, on Cosmos?
Yeah. The
Can you tell us
Warrior
about that?
Within. Yeah. The Warrior Within, it covers sensitive topics that like a lot of people are not comfortable covering. I do it in a sensitive manner, and I cover the topics that, you know, other people don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
And I can say, just I'll be brief about this, but directing The Warrior Within has opened my eyes to so many things that I'd not really thought about. Like the most recent episode that we did, The Warrior Within, and this is totally not a shameless plug for the show, but Jaime talked about her experiences, coming up through radio and television and being sort of a small fish in a big pond, both in that and as being a female jazz musician, which is a genre heavily dominated by male influence. So, Jaime, I'm curious, what drove you to start The Warrior Within?
What drove me to start it? Kind of to tell my story, but to also empower other women to tell their stories, and not just women, men as well. Like, you know, men go through it too. So if I can empower people by telling my story and letting them see, hey, you know, I made it through all of that, you know, turmoil and came out on the other side, that, you know, they can too.
Mm-hmm. And The Warrior Within has just crossed a very important milestone. We've gone past the 6-episode time frame, and Jaime is already spinning threads for the next episodes coming up. And Jaime, I'm gonna say, you've mentioned having guests. I think the lady next to you there would be a wonderful guest.
Yeah.
On the show. So
Well,
most definitely.
Again, I mean, I want to ask Jaime to explain to our audience some of the trials and tribulations that she's had to endure. But before I do that, because I don't want to upstage Corrie Lynn, Corrie Lynn, what kind of how do I put this? What obstacle have you ever had to overcome? Basically, traveling through life at this point.
Well, plenty of obstacles. I mean, I listening to Jaime, I really relate to what she's doing and what she's trying to do. And I think my songs also do that in some ways. I try to go dig deep into the things that have been challenging for me. I guess if I did it in a timeline, it would be poverty, right? And so a lot of my original songs kind of come from that place. And then, different experiences that I've had that have related to going through the cancer experience, which most of you here know, and how that impacted me, and how it challenged me. and how it made me new, and want to live and strive and become more than I was, which is a musician.
And again, we know because we know you very well, but maybe somebody who's watching didn't know that about you. So I'm glad you brought it up.
So if you dig into my songs a little bit, you'll find a lot of that story there. I was diagnosed with cancer in 2017. So feels far away, and it also feels fresh. Maybe you'll never feel not fresh. And I was young, and I was really scared, and I had to go through the experience in the full way, meaning surgery and chemotherapy and radiation. And I had a rare form of cancer, and my things for me were kind of spiraling downward really fast. And I'm a mother, so my main fear was to ever leave my child behind. And then I had to go through my own sort of existential crisis of, what did I think? Did I think I deserved it? Did I think it came from God? Did I think I could beat it? Did I think I had any power in it at all? That's where I sort of started, really writing in a different direction, and in going to sort of the bottom of the of life, heaven and hell, asking all the questions, and asking why, and feeling sorry for myself too, and eventually climbing out of that hole and being one of the lucky ones who does, recognizing how lucky I am and that each day is a gift. And if you're a cancer survivor, if you are told you have no evidence of disease, which is what I'm told, not cancer-free, no evidence of disease, then you know that every day is a gift, and you don't know when that will flip or when that will change. And cancer then, in the 3rd degree, changed who I was, I take medicine for that. It changed my body. I gained weight. And so I also go into those places with the music, with how do I feel about myself, and how do I accept myself, and how do I accept myself post-surgery? How do I accept myself with who I am now? How do I feel beautiful and valued now? And who am I now? And so I think I'm starting to do the full arc around that trauma, and sort of coming back to like, yeah, I'm stronger now. I learned so much in the process. I say this for Jonathan too. I learned so much in the process. At the end, I was so weak, I couldn't walk to my mailbox, and I was a big athlete before. But I can remember looking at the trees and seeing the energy there, and looking down the lane and realizing like my daughter was going to be okay, and my husband was going to be okay, and I was going to be okay no matter what happened. That foundation was laid, and I had experienced life to the fullest. So I started doing music after that, and pursuing it, and putting it out there, which I was afraid to do before.
Yeah. I have a question for both of you, both you and Jamie. I know you both have been to hell and back in your lives. What got you through it? What and where did you find strength?
For me, it was faith, like my spirituality. I meditated a lot. I used my artwork to get through it. Like I wrote poetry. I did guitar solos in the jazz ensemble. That's how I get through anything. And now that I'm a mom, just simply looking at my daughter every day, like how can I not be happy seeing that face every single day?
Agreed.
Corrie, what about you?
Yeah, I relate to that too, Jamie. I mean, same. I think having a child it's a different, if that's what you want, it's a different experience, and it's something that you you finally get to experience this kind of like powerful blast of love, right? And so every time I looked at her, no matter what I was going through, I had something to fight for, and I had something to die for, right? And also meditation. My spiritual journey, I come from an evangelical background. You'll hear that in a lot of the songs too. My struggle with that, my rebellion against that, the hardship around that, and then you know, me being a bit of a different kind of person, not quite fitting into all of that. And then, and then sort of kind of coming full circle, like meditation was the only thing that could actually take me outside of my body, right? When things were difficult or painful or challenging, I could actually leave and be with my thoughts and my, you know, my own prayer, and be totally at peace.
Now, Jaime, we know you very well again here, and we know what you've been through, and it's a lengthy list. But for our audience, could you kind of go through a few of the things that were the tougher stumbles along the way?
Yeah, I can do that. When I was at Quincy University, which is where I got my bachelor's degree in mass communications from, I had the unfortunate opportunity, I guess you'd say, of meeting the wrong guy. He was very, very abusive, and it was my first serious relationship, and he ended up getting me pregnant, and because of the abuse, I lost the baby. I wasn't ready for motherhood at that point in time, and so, you know, being a jazz guitarist and doing that is what helped me get out of the dark place that I was in. Writing poetry, doing artwork, all of that helped me get out of that dark place. And then I went through, I guess you would call it a midlife crisis at 25 before I graduated from Quincy University, because they were telling me that I wasn't going to get to graduate, that I didn't have enough credits. And I'm like, what do you mean? I have been through everything here, and I've been trying to get out that door and back home. I want to start my life already. And so I had to take a summer course. I had to do some makeup homework. And that's after like going through 40 credit hours my last semester there. And I still had to do a guitar solo for the jazz ensemble because people were relying upon me to do that. I was a featured guitarist, so I couldn't get out of that. I couldn't drop that. So I had to do that. I had so much on my plate before I even got to graduate that it was very, very stressful. I know that the radio station, one of my bosses there let me go, and I had gotten my name in the Southern Illinois newspaper. That's like a huge deal, like to get your name in that newspaper. And I got my name in the newspaper because of the radio station that I was a DJ at. And he told me that I wasn't any good, that I needed to practice, and that I could be a free intern there. He waited until my friend who worked there was out the door and heading to a different job. He waited until the female station manager had left and went to a different state, and he just kind of did it sneakishly. And I had an interview.
Well, that's probably why they left.
Yeah.
It was because of him.
Yeah.
Just me.
Yeah, I had an interview with Gavin DeGraw, and it said my name on it. It said Jaime McKinney, which that's what my name was at the time. And he's seen that, and he deleted my interview with Gavin DeGraw, and I needed that for my senior class portfolio. And my friend who had worked at the station made a copy of it. He went so far as to dispose of the copy of it, so I couldn't have my hands on it at all. So I went through a lot at university for my degree. Like I earned my degree, that's for sure.
And then things really started to go downhill.
Yeah. So like, you know, job after job, I couldn't hang on to jobs. Like, you know, you always have that one person that has to make it difficult for you. And I ended up getting pregnant with my son, Ronan, and I worked at a broadcasting station, and they were okay. Like, they treated me well when I was pregnant with him, but I ended up having him early. He was 24 weeks along when I had him, and he didn't survive. He passed away. And I came back to the station, and they started treating me differently. A few months after I got back to the station, I was pregnant with my daughter, and I was a high-risk pregnancy. They were expecting me to climb ladders. They were expecting me to push on heavy metal shelves full of videotapes and film reels, and these shelves had to be cranked. The cranks were broken on them, so I had to push them. Like, they expected me to do a whole bunch of stuff that, you know, a pregnant person should not be doing.
Right.
The power went out,
especially a high-risk pregnancy person.
Oh, yeah. The power went out at that broadcasting station, and I was staying with my parents who were an hour away so that I would have electricity, because we just had an inland hurricane in Marion, Illinois. It was in 2008, I believe. And that's when I was pregnant with my son, Ronan. And they had me come into the station anyways, even though I didn't have running water. I didn't have electricity. They expected me to drive an hour to come into the station pregnant, not having any chance of running water or anything. Like, even one of my coworkers tried to stand up for me, but it didn't work.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
you're both warriors within, believe me, and it's inspiring that you can get through such tough, difficult things. Again, your show there's definitely a need for it, I think, especially now with what's going on around the country or around the world. You know, people being cooped up from the pandemic, and I'm going through, my daughter's going through a problem now with depression. So I understand. Not to the degree that you girls had to go through, but yeah, I mean, hearing your stories helps us to realize, yes, we can get through it. You know, we can push forward, we can move on, no matter what the problem that's thrown at us. And that there's definitely a need for that. I mean, it's important. So thank you both for telling your stories in that respect. How about let's lighten things up a bit? This is a warrior within episode in itself. I think I want to hear some banjo. Corrie, do you have any new songs that you can share with us? Can you play a song?
Yeah, I mean, I always have new songs.
Because like Steve Martin says, when you hear a banjo, you just start to feel happy immediately.
Right. Yeah. Some banjos. I mean, some banjos. My banjo can bring you down, but I'll do a new one that's not too depressing. How about that? I think I'm going to call this one "In the Land of Hope." Can you guys hear me well? Can you hear the banjo?
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Right. This is brand new, so I'm loving this one right now. Everyone's feeling so crazy these days. Hardship and heartache ain't none of us saved. I should be sleeping, but I'm still awake. Bones feeling empty except for the ache. There is no bounty when we search for gold. Come up empty when an acre's sold. I've gone numb in my survival. No one to blame, you are not my rival. Two worn souls trying to get through, like so many people are forced to do. I'm exhausted at the end of this road. Lost my grip in the land of hope, in the land of hope. Whoa. You see it your way through your window. Christmas tree lights are finding the snow. Presents in paper with big golden bows. Some other house is empty and cold. Just down the road in the trailer park, the fridge is empty and the walls are stark. If we don't soon start to look around, reach out our hands, then we're going down. There is no bounty when we search for gold. Come up empty when an acre's sold. I've gone numb in my survival. No one to blame, you are not my rival. Two lost souls trying to get through, like so many people are forced to do. I'm exhausted at the end of this road. Lost my grip in the land of hope, in the land of hope. Whoa. There is no bounty when we search for gold. Come up empty when the acres sold. I've gone numb in my survival. No one to blame, you are not my rival. Two lost souls trying to get through, like so many people are forced to do. Well, I'm exhausted at the end of this rope. Lost my grip in the land of hope, in the land of hope. In the land of hope.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. That's exactly what we needed after that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that song.
And Jamie, you also write like poetry and prose to help you. It's therapy for you to get past these kind of things. Do you have anything to read for us that might inspire us a little bit?
Yeah, I have a few. Like, they might be dark, but that's okay. This one's called Beauty Mark. What is beauty? Is it just skin deep? What lies beneath the skin? Beauty or just mass conceptions of what it is to be human? Beauty is the rose that is hidden amongst the thorns. Beauty is one's character and how they present themselves to others. Beauty is not a mask. It is life, society, conversations, art, poetry, the true pursuit to find our inner being. Life's struggles to live, to be human, to be blood and flesh.
Very nice. As far as poetry and prose, who are some of your inspirations, some of your favorites?
Saul
I mean,
Williams.
some Sylvia Plaths or people in that really stick out with you?
Yeah, I really like Saul Williams. He's a slam poet. He's also a musician. I was listening to a lot of him when I wrote this poetry. I like him a lot. And then, of course, I like Robert Frost. That's my favorite poet.
And that's made all the difference.
I absolutely adore Robert Frost. Anything Robert Frost.
Corrie, let's volley that same question to you now. Who are some of your major influences musically?
Well, I have a lot. I mean, I grew up in bluegrass like you did. I grew up listening to all the bluegrass greats. I was a big fan of Bill Monroe. I was always listening to Scruggs, Earl and Scruggs style. That was the style of banjo that I wanted to play, as opposed to traditional, which is more like clawhammer. Now I do kind of a mix. Del McCurry is still my all-time favorite bluegrass musician of all time. I'm always shocked if he's not on the top 10. He's an incredible musician and incredible writer. And then, all the way up to what's new. I mean, I just was at Billy String's concert recently. He's insane, right? And what I love about that is like he's insane and he is bluegrass for real, where I'm not considered bluegrass for real. And he is also has this like hippie vibe going on. So it's like being in the bluegrass show and being at a Grateful Dead show at the same time. So those are all the men, but let me name some women. Lindsay Lou, if you guys haven't checked out Lindsay Lou, she used to be Lindsay Lou in the Flatbellies. She can sing like nobody I've ever heard. She's a total inspiration. My favorite songwriter right now is May Earlywine. If I'm going back, Joni Mitchell. I mean, I'm a music lover. I like everything too. I like pop and rap and everything you can think of, even though I'm a banjo player and a folk singer.
I was about to say, I would love to hear some rap with banjo in the background. That would
Well,
be so different.
I do have a rap.
Original.
Well, it's not really a rap, but I don't usually do it to the banjo, so I wouldn't be able to do it tonight. But I do have a song that was sort of inspired from that point of view of like, have you guys heard of Rising Appalachia? Maybe. I mean, some of their stuff is like, you've got a banjo and you've got a guitar and you've got all the instruments, but they also have like a rhythm, and so some of my songs do have that. Because I also grew up in government housing, and we were listening to, my first cassette tapes were like Beastie Boys, and we were listening to all kinds of rap growing up, all the best kinds. I mean, Super Bowl disappointed some people. I was like out of my mind happy. I mean, I just thought it was the best thing that had ever happened.
Very good. Very good. You have a new album coming out.
I sure do. I have a new album coming out called Blow Away. I know Blow Away has been sort of like, it's the reason I have an album. It was, recorded. It was written when I was younger, about my life growing up in the holler town that I live in. Sort of, I don't know if you've heard that song, Jamie, but it's about me climbing out the window and being rebellious and, having the experience of finding my way as a kid and acting like an adult. Right. And, not having any boundaries there. And, so that song got recorded, which is a long story, but it was heard by a producer in Philadelphia who ended up picking me up at the beginning of the pandemic. And then realizing that I have, like 45 songs. So we ended up doing a whole album. And that album has taken me a really long time to complete, both because of the pandemic and because of the learning curve for music that I have. I didn't know how to do anything really. I just had my raw instincts of playing and singing and writing. And so I had to learn how to, appropriately sing into a really expensive microphone, or how to, really get across my point of view. And so everything has developed through this experience with the producer, whose name is Doug Fern. And he really just rolled out the red carpet for me, which I know is really unusual, and said, here, I have all of this here. Why don't you try this? And I believe in you. So culminating to this album, which is going to be fully released on May 28th, but is also, I've been dropping videos down, and I've got one out, which is Blow Away, which you can find on YouTube or on Facebook, Corrie Lynn Green. Spotify, you can find that song anywhere now. 2 more videos will come out. One, which I'm really excited about, called In a Small Town. And it's a wonderful story. It's a scathing story. And I'm working on the video for that now. That'll be next. And then there'll be another video called Angel's Teeth. Once those 3 videos come out, then the full album will be rolled out after that.
Well, I know we were really excited when we heard you were going back into the studio again a couple of months back. and we were keeping up with that story. And
Yeah, it's
again,
great.
I'm very happy to hear
I'm
that your
basic.
album, you're finally releasing the new album. So
Yeah,
um,
it's basically all of it's done, and we're talking about what we want to record next. So we'll see where this thing goes. I've had a lot of energy behind it, and I've had a lot of support thanks to all of these amazing musicians I've met through the pandemic, and who have encouraged me. I really wouldn't be where I am without a lot of stops and starts here and mistakes, and then yeah, just the belief and the love has been incredible, and the pandemic in some ways was really good for me because it gave me time to work on it, so I'm grateful.
I want to see if you can play Blow Away, but first of all, we've got Greg Gannon in the comments saying, ask her about flying a plane.
Oh yeah, so the producer that I work with is a pilot as well. Maybe toward the beginning he started suggesting, like, I'll come pick you up in the plane, which just didn't seem real, right? But anyway, that ended up happening several times, and yeah, flying on a private plane, which was an incredible experience, and also, like, not having to worry about carrying my banjo and all of those kinds of things. So it was wonderful. And yes, at some point he's really taken me under his wing, and has also been teaching me how
literally.
to fly, and been teaching me, really, now he's really teaching me how, and the next time I go up, he's teaching me how to do some podcasts, and teaching me how to also work in the studio, which I really know nothing about, like what hit the production side of things are. So he's been an incredible resource and an incredible friend. And, he's believed in me in the way you kind of need in order to pull something like this off. I was writing something earlier, and you guys will see it on my social media later, just about, life hands you a lot of hard things. And for musicians, I had no idea how expensive it was to be a musician. I had no idea how difficult it was to get people to listen to your high quality recording. Like, it's an amazing vulnerability. And so I want to shine some light on that, because I do think even I have taken for granted, like, sharing somebody's new music is so important. Getting it out there, getting people to listen to your Spotify, like, you don't exist if they don't. And so this could be the most amazing recording on the most, and I'm using the most amazing equipment out there. Doug Fern created this equipment, and is famous for it. But, just to get that process rolling is such a challenge. So yes, I've flown a plane. I've recorded music. I've made an album. It's been a dream. It's been a total dream.
Could you play Blow Away for us?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
As
By
she's
the
getting
way-
ready, I just want to point out that it's kind of weird, but Jamie's painting on the wall looks like I'm wearing a blue collar. I
I
look like a
totally
priest.
saw.
Shade of blue.
And one thing more, that one up there, Corrie Lynn, is going to be on the BLT show tomorrow night in KMH. I believe at
Yeah, I'm
8:30.
super excited. Yeah, I'm
Cannot
super
wait for
excited about
that.
that too. And I'll play a bunch of songs off the album then. I'll play Blow Away, which is on the album. And yeah, Jamie, I in particular hope that you like this song. If you haven't heard it before, I don't know, but I think you'll recognize some things here. Some similarities between us, maybe. Little girl, Mama's watching you. Mama don't know what to do. Little baby girl, it's dark inside that holler. It's wild and it's deep. Fell in love with a pretty little boy when I was just 16. Crawled out the attic window, shimmied down that vine, hopped inside a pickup truck, got drunk on cherry wine. Blow away, have me a pretty little girl. She's gonna love me all the time. Blow away, blow away, blow away my thinking mind. Gonna have me a pretty little girl. She's gonna love me all the time. Well, that boy became a man whose fists were built on swinging me. Mama loved her baby girl and ran away at 17. Sometimes she don't know what to do. Sometimes she still feels fright. But Mama loves and swings her girl and rocks her through the night. Blow away, blow away, blow away my thinking mind. Gonna have me a pretty little girl. She's gonna love me all the time. Blow away, blow away, blow away my thinking mind. Gonna have me a pretty little girl. She's gonna love me. She's gonna love me all of the time.
This is a round of applause.
Wow, that's how
Incredible.
Corrie Lynn Green
Wow.
does it. That's how Corrie Lynn Green. I was like, holy, that is the magic. I had tears in my eyes. It's tough to listen to Corrie Lynn Green. It's tough
Very, very
sometimes.
nice.
Beautiful. Wow.
Corey, I
Wow.
want to ask well, we've touched on influences. But who are some of your singing influences? Because there's such a magical power in your singing. Where did you get that from, and who did you get it from?
This is really important for me to say, and I'm realizing this right now. I got it from no one. I
Wow.
don't feel like I was ever seen or known, ever. I was in a bluegrass world. I was in a bluegrass family. My voice didn't fit that. I always said that, but now I realize like no one ever really said that's amazing or you should do that. And even when I was writing, as opposed to poetry, like trying to sing it to you, just so you would know what I needed to get out, right? I have a very unusual voice, which now has been seen.
I would call it
But-
unique.
But right, unique.
It's a unique sound. It is.
Yes.
It harkens
It's
back
a beautiful
to
sound.
old folk music from
Yeah.
and way back to the early Grand Ole Opry, but it is very unique. It's your own, which is
It's
really
my own,
which is really interesting, really cool.
Which I always thought was a big problem, right? And people sometimes would get it, sometimes, and sometimes they would give you the look where they don't say anything, but you know, like you're failing. And I only want to say that because it took me believing in myself and being totally resilient about it and letting completely go of the idea that I had to fit into some sort of box. And not only that it had to be good for some reason, because the bottom line was it fed me. It saved me. And I just want to tell anyone out there who gets the look, you know, that it's weird, not good enough, strange, doesn't sound good. I couldn't sing not that long ago. And I have been singing and I have made a lot of mistakes and I've done it poorly and I've done it well. And now I believe in it because other people believed in me. So if you need someone to believe in you and you're trying to do something, I just am saying I will, because it's what I needed. And it's
Dare to be different. Be
it
the rebel.
changed me.
Yeah.
And it changed me.
Jaime, your artwork now, are you indulging in art anymore, or what's going on that home front?
Yeah, I'm painting a piece that's going to be a surprise for a friend. I'm going to be sending it to her because she's been very supportive of me and my daughter Willow. She always watches our streams whenever we do our paint streams together, and so I'm going to be sending her a painting that I did as a gift. So yeah, I'm still working on artwork.
Is Willow following in her mom's footsteps with that?
Yes.
I know
Very
you're a
much
mom
so.
first. You both
Yes.
are, really. You're a mom first above everything else.
I will
which
brag
makes you two
for
very
hours.
amazing.
I will brag for hours about Willow. That little girl is something, I tell you. She loves painting. Like, she loves painting. She loves playing the ukulele. She loves dancing. She loves singing. I was like, are you gonna become like, go into the recording technology field like your mom did? And she's like, I might. You never know.
Well, and we had Jim Meskimen, impersonator, on the show a few months back, and his daughter does a lot of the tech for his stuff.
Oh wow.
I found out.
That's neat.
So yeah, keep steering her in that direction.
Yeah,
To help
she's
you out.
learning about editing now. Like, that's what I like to do, is I like to do the production side of things, and I love editing music. I love doing all of that stuff because that's what my degree's in. So she's learning about that now. I'm trying to teach her simple things here and there.
I actually like doing stuff like that, but I just don't have the time.
She might be. You never know.
So what's coming up for you girls in the near future? What can we look for? I know we can look forward to the album, but any live shows coming up, Corrie Lynn?
Yeah, so I'll be on BLT tomorrow night, which I'm really looking forward to. That's going to be fun, and I'll get to definitely play some sets. I have a ton of shows coming up, mostly local in Harrisonburg, Virginia, where I'm from. I'm playing at Sagebird Cider Works on Saturday night in an Appalachian folk revival. There's a bunch of great musicians there. Ivan is the one who got me that gig, so thank you very much, Ivan. And then I'll be playing at a really cool spot called Clementine, which has an amazing stage with a bunch of artwork behind it that I've always wanted to play on, and that's happening on April 16th. I'm also flying out to the Tucson Folk Festival. I am in the top 10 songwriter. I won this songwriter thing, top 10. So I'll go and I'll actually compete for the first spot on the Folk Stage Festival, which is a really big deal. And I'm pretty nervous about it and excited about that. And if I can get anywhere with that, then I'll actually have a 30-minute set on the Tucson Folk Festival stage. So I'm hopeful, and I'm going to fight for it, which I don't normally do. And then lastly, I'll have my big album release concert, which will be at a place called Court Square Theater. And the session musicians from the album and the producer are all coming down to do the concert with me. So that's a really rare thing. Session musicians don't usually do that. They're doing me a huge favor. Adam Monaco on guitar, Kate Monaco, they just got married, on harmony vocals, Peter Oswald on the cello, and John O'Reilly Jr. on the drums, and then the producer Doug Fern. So I'm feeling super lucky and super excited about that show. It'll be the biggest show I've ever done. So I'm also going to just try to hold it together and do my best.
Sounds awesome. Sounds great. I'm so glad that things are really happening for you. Jaime, The Warrior Within, we can look forward to that, I know.
Yeah.
What else is coming up for you? Anything interesting?
I'm revamping my radio show, The Jam Session, and I'm named
I heard
it
about
The
that.
Jam Session Goes Underground. So
Ooh.
what I'm hoping to do with that is to get the musicians who have not been well heard of yet, together with the musicians that have already stepped into the, known for their work. I would like them to get together and, talk and network, and that's my goal. I want to bring them all together so that they can help each other out.
And this will be on Cosmos?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
I believe
One of the
that
channels.
I believe the premiere is going to be March 5th. We're shooting for around 5 p.m. and my first guest is Julio Morales.
An interesting first guest.
Yeah.
Yes, very interesting first. Yes. Corey,
Jonathan, do you have any other questions before we cut these ladies loose to get on with their very busy lives?
Not any questions. I just want to say how thankful I am for the both of you. Because
I think we all are.
You
I think
both
that's why they're
are
so busy.
Yeah. You both have been such great influences on me this last year or so. And I'm so blessed. So blessed.
Same.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very blessed to know all of you. That's awesome.
All right. Let's bring Renee Yaworsky back up.
Yes, what a wonderful show. These are my two favorite ladies ever. Oh my gosh, I'm in such
Well, they're
awe
definitely two of our
both
favorites,
you.
yes.
Yes, it's
Third
just
of our
like an
favorites just
overload.
joined us.
It's a big overload for me. It's an excitement overload. They know. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us tonight. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
indeed.
Thank you.
So happy to have you both on. So happy to hear your stories. So happy that you're both very busy. This is just wonderful. And again, I hope to have you back on again soon.
Thank you, Rory.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Rory.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.